Hi there everyone, it's Melly here again. This time I'm just going to demonstrate how to do button jointing. So I'm working on the mini Darla here, but this is the same technique if you're doing any button jointing with any of my toys. Okay, so you don't need to be making Darla to follow this tutorial. You could be making any button jointed toy of mine or someone else's and just want a little bit of a visual idea of how it all works. So first what I'm going to do is get a nice long length of 6-strand embroidery floss. So this is just DMC embroidery floss, and you want your floss to match the colour of the buttons that you're using for your jointing. So I've decided to use these cute pink buttons that's really matching to the pink that's within the fabric. And I want to get a nice long length of the DMC thread. So I'm just cutting it here. It's a little bit hard for me to get all of this into the shot for you, but I'm going to guess if I unfolded this, because it's obviously folded into two, that's going to be over 1 metre. So it's probably going to be about up to 1.5 metres, somewhere between 1 metre and 1.5 metres. And the other thing that we need is our doll maker's needle. Now you don't need one this big. I could only find a really big one in my supplies today. I would usually use one that's slightly smaller than this for a toy this size, but if that's all you have, that's fine. Just always make sure, sorry, I dropped my button. Always make sure that the eye of the doll maker's needle that you have will go through the holes of your buttons. And if they're not going through your holes, then don't use it. And if they're, you'll probably see here that I'm only just getting through these holes because this is quite big. And if that's the case, look, I'm going to do it because I feel I can get away with it. But if it's really sort of touching the sides, maybe be careful. Or you could decide to try and get some pliers or something like that and just sort of slightly push in the eye there so it's just a little bit thinner. I think I'm going to get away with this. If I don't, then you'll probably never know because I'll start a new tutorial. But we'll see how we go. So again, like when we attach the head, I have my DMC thread doubled over, and the end that has the 2 raw ends is what I'm going to thread through the eye of my needle. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did before with the head, creating our slip knot so that we have a really nice tight union and nothing can fall out. Okay, so I've got that there folded over. Again, the loop end is my long end, the raw ends are my short end. Okay, then we're going to grab our first 2 legs and our Darla. So it doesn't really matter which legs. If you have a particular one you want to sit over a side because you like it better and it's your favourite side, go for it, but really it makes no difference. All the 4 legs are the same. But as you're probably aware, we're wanting to make sure that that bit that we slip stitch together on the inside has to be against the body. All right, so we're making sure that that's nicely covered and will be all good. So first what we're going to do is we're just going to look at our front legs and we're going to kind of decide where I want them to go on the body. Now you don't want to put them up too high because then your legs are going to splay out. I hope you can see that. Put it up too high, they're going to splay out. Put them too low, they're going to go in. So same thing, you want to make sure that the button is going to go in a nice place, that it's going to hold the leg in a nice straight way. So I'm thinking that the actual stitching, the actual stitches are going to come through around here, which is kind of the fattest part of the body, the middle of the fattest part of the body. So I'm taking my first stitch. Now again, this is just a securing stitch. So I'm just taking this into the body and creating that slip knot that I talked about before. All right, so we're going through with the needle, through that folded edge and pulling it tight. Now we have a beautiful slip knot. It's secured onto the toy. It can't come out as we're sewing. So now I'm going to get my first leg. So where this thread is, I want to put it through the leg. Now we're going to do it around the center of that turning gap that we sewed together, all right? Because that's what we want to be secured against the body. So I'm going to take a stitch there, so at the same level through. And then what I'm going to do is put it through my button. So I did it slightly right of center there because I'm going to put that through the right side of my button. Okay, then I'm going to go back through my button through the other hole. I'm going to go to the left of where I am here. so about the same distance as the buttonhole. Okay, through the leg. Now you're always going to get lots of tangles of thread as you're doing this, so just make sure you do a bit at a time. Make sure you get all the thread straight. Okay, so it's straight through there. So it's gone from the body, through the leg, through the button, through the leg, and now it's going to go back through the body. Okay, and I want it to go through to the other side. So I'm going to pull it tight once it's at the other side, so don't worry about it right now. But what we want to do is look at the toy and we want to push the needle through and try and make sure that it's coming out equally evenly to the where this one's coming out. So hopefully you can see there that I think I need to go a little bit further down. This is going a little bit higher than it is from this side. So I'm going to pull it out and just guide it back through again to get it a little bit closer to where I want it. Okay, so I feel like that's pretty even that way. Then I'm also going to check it this way. All right, so again, I can see that this is too far down compared to this side. I want it to be horizontal. So I'm going to move again the needle, get it a bit higher up. And hopefully you can see there now that I think that's fairly even enough anyway. All right, so I'm going to put the needle through to the other side, pull it through, make sure we get rid of any tangling. And then we now can pull this nice and taut, okay? So make sure all the loose thread is all the way going through everything. There's no loose thread anywhere, and we're through to the other side. So then we're going to do the same thing with one of my other legs. So we're going to grab this leg, the thread, again, going around sort of the middle of where our turning gap is, through to the front. We're going to get our next button. We're going to go through the buttonhole from the back, through the buttonhole from the front, put that back through the leg a little bit to the left, back through the back a little bit to the side. Okay, and I'm just going to secure that first to make sure we get rid of all our loose thread. Beautiful. And now I'm going to take that stitch into the body again, a little bit across. And I'm going to try and guide this thread through the leg on the other side and keep in and out until I get to the hole. You see there I've gotten to the hole with my needle, okay? And I'm coming through to the other side. Once I'm through, again, make sure all the thread everywhere gets nice and tight. No catching anywhere, no loose thread anywhere, no loops anywhere, okay? And now we're going to start to pull this really tight. So now that we've gotten through the both sides, we're going to start pulling it tight. What you want is you want those legs to cinch in the body. You want this to get a really nice tight union, okay? The more times we go through, the tighter it'll get, but just make sure at every point that you're pulling it tight. So right now I'm pulling it tight to make sure my starting point is tight before I go through. I'm going through that needle, through the body. Again, I'm going to keep going through here until I can get it through the buttonhole, which I think I'm getting close to. Nearly. This is something that you get better with time, is understanding where you're going to get that through. You can see I've got it through there now. All right. So again, pull in these legs, pull it nice and tight, pull the thread through, pull it really taut again. So again, we're making sure we're really taut. You can see how nice and even those legs are. Pulling it really taut. I'm going to go through again. So you can see why I had to get a really nice long length of embroidery floss. You want to be able to go through this a few times, all right, to make sure you get it really tight, and again, a really nice join. So we've gone all the way through again, and again, pulling nice and taut. Sorry, I've lost my, unthreaded my needle. I'll just thread that back through again. Okay, so again, we're just pulling this really taut. So now we've gone through, I think, well, we've gone through fully twice. I'm going to go through again to the other side and back again. So we'll go again through here. Got it through the hole again. Pull it through, really nice and taut. You'll see I'm starting to get a bit less thread now available to me. Just make sure I get those loose ends through. All right, so I think I'm only going to be able to go through to the other end and then tie off. So here we go. I'm going to take my last stitch through to the other side of the body, through there. It's getting quite hard to push that needle through if you have to push it against the surface to get a good grip. There we go, all the way through. Okay, so now I'm going to do my last pass through. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is do much like what I was doing previously in respect to sinking the knot when I was sewing the head on. What I'm going to do is tie a knot. Now I'm going to tie this knot, I only need a single knot here because obviously we've got a double thickness of 6-stranded thread, so we really don't need a big thick knot. What I'm going to do is do a knot, look, you know, roughly 1 inch away from where I've come out. I'm going to take another stitch through to the other side, again getting through one of my holes if I can. I was doing so well before and now I'm struggling on this pass. There we are, got it through. All right, so we're going to pull that one through. And again, like when we sunk the knots in the neck, I'm going to wait until that catches. So you'll see that that knot has caught there. Now we want to force it, so we're going to pull hard. Whoop, I hope you heard that click. So it went through the hole, into the leg, possibly even through the body. And now I'm just going to do the same thing the other way. So we've got it secured twice, all right? So that knot's gotten through, and then I'm just going to do the same thing here. Tie a knot, again about, oh, this time I only did about 1/2 inch away. That's fine, it's my second one, all good. Now I'm going to put my needle through. I'm not going to put it through the button on the other side again, just can put it through to anywhere, to be honest. So just through to the other side of the body, pull it through. Again, hopefully you can hear it again. I'm going to click it. There you go, through to the other side. And now all we need to do is pull this thread nice and tight and we can cut that off close to the body and it will sink back in that end. So there you go. Now, I hope you can see how nice and tight and well that's kind of going on the button joints there. So it's really nice and tight and secure and it's all ready to go. So now we need to do the back legs. And they're going to be done in the exact same way. So you can stick with me if you want. I'll probably put it into fast motion just as I do the back leg. And you can have a little bit of a look how it is standing. Okay, so all done. He's all button jointed. Got really nice secure joins there on both the legs, front and back. And now we can see how he's standing. So you can play around with these legs to, if you put those ones back, he's going to stand further back, put them up. You can put the front legs out. He kind of bows forward. Not sure if you can see that from that angle. But yeah, you can just play with the positioning of the legs in order to make him stand how you would like him to stand. All right, so all we have left to do now is to sew the tail onto our beautiful little Darla and put a little bow around her neck. So I'll continue on with the pattern to finish her off. All right, thank you.